Let me check out what's the name real quick? Okay. Welcome back, people. I was over here setting some stuff up that you can't see. So give me a quick second real quick so we can get into this. All right. Trying to see if I'm live. So give me a quick second real here. If I'm live, I'll keep going. If not, then you know what I got to do. All right. So let me just see here. Okay, we live. All right. Okay, so we're going to take this once again. All right, excellent connection. Stream setup, connected stream software, live view. But I can't see myself in it, so I'm only assuming that it's live. All right, so bring you back up there. All right. So, wait, let me put my ad up. Welcome to politics as usual. Old jaw gritty. It's your boy Juice Warner. And please don't forget to check out my book, Street Skelzy, Knock 'em Out the Box. And if you want to support, don't forget to go to Some Junkies Apparel, and you can get some of my material to support me. I don't give you anything that I want you to walk away from without having something yourself. You know? About to roll up, as you can see. I got the Bluntvilles. Yes, I smoke the Bluntvilles. We don't do Dutches around here. I don't get money from Bluntville. You know, if they find out I'm doing this, you'd be more than welcome, to throw a check my way. You know. Okay, so we about to get into this. About to take off cognitive behavior. Now, really, at the end of my last show, I wanted to touch on, chicanery, because, not chicanery, pardon me here, getting this weed, charlatans, right? I wanted to touch on, the charlatan part of this, the aspect of the scheme, right? Because a lot of people might not even realize yet that this is a scheme. A scheme to get into your brain and remain there. All right, so we're going to get into this right here. Let's go into my other screen. All right, so welcome to the Devil's Workshop. When you spend your time addressing the lie, when do you get a chance to get to the truth? So you don't, right? Because you spend so much time arguing over the lie. So me, I just figured, cut to the chase and just give the truth. And after that, anybody could approach the truth and argue it after the fact. The truth will be there. It's on the table. I'm putting it on the table. The tactics used in order to put you in these situations. Right? This is not something that just developed overnight. This is something that has been in the play for a very, very long time. Right? And so you had a group of people who noticed this, and they jumped on board, So I got some more information. This is all connected to Freemasonry. I want you to understand that I'm not saying this, this medical stuff and quote unquote medical stuff as if it doesn't have no connection. They are one and the same. They are one and the same. You hire a group of people to provide the means. And they don't even know most of the time. A lot of them don't even know. There are very, very few who make it to understanding what I'm offering you. So even they could argue and be like, yeah, it was this, and I can go touch on those grounds too. In every area that I've seen it place itself. Now, there could be some places that I've never saw it, which I doubt. You know, I truly doubt that there's an area of this that I've not addressed or taken notice to. And even if I haven't addressed it yet, meaning that I will get to it. So, but I'm not the type of person to act like if you introduce something new that, oh, I knew that, oh, I know that. Nah, I'm give you your credence so that way, you know, it can enhance me. Meaning that if I don't deny the truth, you know, I won't limit myself to giving the truth. So whoever provides the truth, trust me, they're not gonna get any combatants from me. You know, if you could prove me wrong, I'm more than welcome to accept that. All right, pardon me, I'm over here setting up my weed. All right. I don't know where my little crusher went. I don't know what you call that, like the grinder. My fault. I don't know what my you don't you know I don't even use it like that. I don't know where my grinder went. Somewhere around here. All right. So y'all been dealing with me. Get ready. We do this all the time. Okay. Cognitive behavioral. In the latter half of the 20th century, two factors contributed to the development of the cognitive behavior approach to hypnosis. Cognitive behavior theories of the nature of hypnosis, influenced by the theories of Serban and Barber, became increasingly influential. The therapeutic practices of hypnotherapy and various forms of cognitive behavioral therapy overlap and influenced each other. All right. So, you know, as you can see that up there. All right. Okay. Pardon me. Putting my little rat back in the sack. Okay. So, although, pardon me here. Although cognitive behavioral therapy of hypnosis must be distinguished from cognitive behavioral approaches to hypnotherapy, they share similar concepts, terminologies, and assumptions, and have been integrated by influential researchers and clinicians such as Irving Kirsten and Stephen J. Lynn and others. Right? Hold on. Let me put some weed in this wrap real quick. All right. So you know I'm on my game. It's just, you know, once the weed kick in, you're gonna have to deal with me here. Don't think that I don't know what I'm talking about. Just be high. You know what I'm saying? Just be high. Okay. It goes. At the offset of cognitive behavioral therapy during the 1950s, hypnosis was used by early behavioral therapists such as Joseph Whoop, I'm hoping that, and also by early cognitive therapists such as Albert Ellis, Barber, Sapnos, and Chaves introduced the term cognitive behavioral to describe their non-state theory of hypnosis and hypnosis, imagination, and human potentialities. However, Clark and L. Hull had introduced a behavioral psychology as far back as 1933, which in turn was preceded by Ivan Pavlov. Indeed, the earliest theory of practices of hypnosis, even those of Brad, resembled the cognitive behavioral orientation in some respects. Okay. Let me roll this. About to take a break in 3 minutes. All right. Right. Okay, hold on a minute here. Okay, so let's move to the next ticker. All right. Hold on. All right, so we go. Do we just do endodynamics? Nah. All right, hold on. Attention to suggestion. All right, are we doing this in reverse? Hold on a minute here. Yeah, we're doing it in reverse. Okay. Then let's go into definition. All right. Put a little spark to this as we get into this. A person in a state of hypnosis has focused attention and has increased suggestibility. The hypnotized individual appears to heed only to communication of the hypnotist and typically responds in an uncritical, automatic fashion while ignoring all aspects of the environment other than those pointed out by the hypnotist. All right, now we could look at that and we could say Jada Pickett to Will Smith, right? She has made Will Smith her puppet, right? So, through the grooming. Like I said, hypnotism is a long time. Some people want the quick, fast results, but it's really a long-term thing. Right? That affects you in the long run. So Jada Pickett could put Will Smith in a certain position of always trying to make her happy. You know what I mean? At any extent. We'll be back in a second. Okay. So we back. I just like to put the break in there so I can monitor myself and, keep you updated on the show, so I ain't got to keep stopping every 5 seconds to tell somebody, this. Politics as usual. Old Jaw Gritty with your boy Juice Wanna. And don't forget to check out my book, Street Skelzy, Knock 'em Out the Box. And you can also support by getting some of my apparel off of some Junkies Apparel. Alright? So, now that we got that away, don't forget the Grand Strings. That's the company itself, Shakespeare Studios. Not Shakespeare, but Shakespeare's. Like African spears, man. Let's get back into this. All right. So, forgot even where I was at. Okay. Definition. A person in a state of hypnosis. Oh, wait. I know where we at. Okay, I was talking about Will Smith, right? So, like I said, inside of this person would not know that they have been groomed and conditioned to react in a certain way. So he doesn't care about the surroundings. He doesn't care about anything else but what he is supposed to be doing. That's why you hear the phrase protect the woman, but because this is the mindset. You are supposed to be these bees. You got like the soldier bees, and you got all of these levels, but only certain ones can get to them, right? And so no matter how grimy the person is, your mindset is supposed to be defend that, because that's the trigger. If you understand what I'm saying, you're being put in a hypnotic spell. In a hypnotic state, an individual tends to see, feel, smell. Forgive me, I don't want it inside my sponge and shit. And otherwise perceived in accordance with the hypnotist's suggestion. Even though these suggestions may be in an apparent contradiction to the actual stimuli presented in the moment. Everybody was laughing, right? Everybody was laughing when the joke was made, even Jada Pickett. So once the look, you understand, you better handle this, kicked in, he reacted in a way that was not characteristics of himself. It was the characteristics of the person that he wants to please. So the suggestion of you better go handle that was laid down. And if you watch, I put out a video, I think it was over a year ago, about let me stop smoking. I put out a video about The Witches, the movie The Witches, which happens to be starring Chris Rock. And if I talk about Chris Rock pretty often due to the fact of he is the one in Fargo. It's a TV show called Fargo. And in season 4 is basically, Freemasonry exposed and Chris Rock again. So I knew, Chris Rock was relevant. You know what I'm saying? In a lot of things. So when this popped up, I was waiting for it. Because if I kept mentioning, Chris Rock. You know what I mean? Because I knew what he was doing was setting things in place. So, I'll be continue doing other people as well. And otherwise perceived in accordance with the hypnotist's suggestion, even though these suggestions may be apparent contradictions to the actual stimuli present in the environment, right? So think about Chris Rock Will Smith when I say that. The effects of hypnosis are not limited to sensory change. Even the subject's memory and awareness of self may be altered by suggestion. And the effects of the suggestion may be extended post hypnotically into the subject's subsequent waking activity. So when you look at a Will Smith state, right? When you looked at the change, you looked at, what he set down and then his actions, one would say, yeah, he was put in, a spell or a trance. That's just was laid down, right? I'm just using him as a clear example of one of the styles, ironically matched with the bald head, the witches. Wait, hold on. Let me pull up the witches. All right, hold on here. All right. Give me 1 second here. The Witches movie. All right. Okay. So. Hold on. I was trying to bring it over for you. I don't know what I just did with it. All right. Hold on. Let me see if I bring it down this way. I don't know where it went. It's popping up on my thing, so I'm confused on where it's at. It must be on this side somewhere, but locked in there. Wait, you know what? Let me see if I take this down. Nope. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it went. So let me bring this back up for y'all. All right, let me bring this up for me. Go over here. Just type it in. Slide it over. Mm. 2020 movies. So yeah, hold on. All right. Okay. So then we'll bring this up for y'all here. All right. Okay. So now you see we got the witches, right? I'm going to go into the images. All right. Now, as you can see, all right, got the bald head. All right. Got the bald head. I got the wigs on because this is what the movie was about. You know what I mean? This is what it was about. It was about, these Eastern stars, and the takeover. Right now, this little kid right here, right here. That's you can't see my hand right there, but that right there is Chris Rock's character. He's doing the voiceover. You know what I mean? So this character right here is Chris Rock. He gets turned into a mouse. You got to see the movie. It's the real it's a kids movie, but for me, it breaks down stories. You got to know, like as I'm telling you about hypnosis, and they telling you metaphors and different ways of hypnotism. So once you learn what I'm saying, you will be able to see it in real time. And you will understand it through its different areas and how they work in unison to pull this off. All right? So it's where we at here? Where we at? Okay, it goes. It could be said that hypnotic suggestion is explicitly intended to make use of the placebo effect, right? An example in 1994, Irving Kirsch, I'm hoping I'm saying his name right, characterized hypnosis as a non-deceptive placebo, a method that openly makes use of suggestion and employs methods to amplify its effects. Right? So it could be said hypnotic suggestion is explicitly extended to make use of the placebo effect. Right? Now it's going to say a non-deceptive placebo, a method that openly makes use of suggestion to employ methods to amplify its effects. A definition of hypnosis derives from academic psychology, was provided in 2005 when the Society of Psychological Hypnosis, Division 30 of the American Psychological Association, APA, published the following formal definition. Right? Hypnosis typically involves the induction to the procedure during which the subject is told that suggestions for imaginative experience will be present. They're trying to tell you that in order for it to work, they tell you first. Right? And in so many ways, you can say they do that before you watch a TV show, programming and, set you up for this environment or not, right? Typically involve an induction to the procedure during which the subject is told that suggestions for imaginative experience will be present, right? On a book, nonfiction. You are set up from the beginning of telling you what you're about to indulge in, right? So you know that when you're reading it, that it's imaginary. It's not real. So you're already being indoctrinated into that. Then you also got, in the movies, science fiction and these categories. So you know that you are entering to something that is not real. Right? Will be present. The hypnotic induction is an extended initial suggestion and using one's imagination. And certain further elaboration of the induction. A hypnotic procedure is used to encourage and evaluate response to suggestion. Say the water cooler or in school, right? When you can tell who's been affected by the suggestion. because you can look and see. You understand what I'm saying? So then they could hone in on that and utilize it for them later, or whenever it's needed, because they already have those people in place. They already set the suggestion in place for them for long term, right? A hypnotic procedure is used to encourage and evaluate response to suggestions. When using hypnotic, one person, the subject, is guided by the hypnotist to respond to suggestion. For changes in subject's experience, alteration in perception, censorship, emotion through thought or behavior. Right? So we right here. You see it all right there. It's in the green. Right? Persons can also learn self-hypnotism, which is the act of administering hypnotic procedures on one's own. If the subject responds to hypnotic suggestion, it is genuinely inferred that hypnotist has been induced. Many believe that hypnotic responses and experience are characteristics of a hypnotic state, while some think that it is not necessary to use the word hypnosis as part of the hypnotic inductions, or to view it as essential. I'm one of those who take it as it is not necessary. Through my observation, it is not necessary. I mean, if it put it like this, I wouldn't know what these people's lives were before then to trigger them at that point. But to my knowledge, to the things that I've seen, to state hypnosis is not necessary. Not at all. If the subject responds, hypnotic suggestions of his own. Where we at? Okay, it goes. Michael Nash provided a list of 8 definitions of hypnosis. My phone, I'm over here. Told you once you start kicking in. Okay, Janet near the turn of the where we at? Michael Nash provided a list of 8 definitions of hypnosis by different authors, in addition to his own view of that hypnosis is a special case of psychological regression. All right. If you want, we can go into regression, but I really, Janet near the turn of the century, and more recently, Ernest, we got a minute before the break. Ernest Hilgard have defined hypnosis in terms of dissociation. Social psychologists Sabin and Co. have described hypnosis in terms of role theory. Hypnosis is a role that people play. They act as if they were hypnotized. Right? So, we're about to take a break in 30 seconds. I didn't really want to go further into the definitions until I come back. I agree to disagree with that statement. We're about to take a break in 10 minutes, 10 seconds. So when we come back, I'm going to explain that. All right. Right. So for me to agree to disagree on that is based on the fact that if you playing 3 card money, and if you know that, it's suggestion, right? So take 3 card money, right? You have the cards, you have the person messing with the cards, them talking to you and suggesting where to go while they're doing something else would be the mesmerism and the hypnotism. So that would be the mesmerism, because hypnotism is trying to associate itself with the medical field, right? But it's using all of the tactics of mesmerism to prove its point. So, because remember, there's only actually, outside of irritable bowel movement and like menopause, they see everything else being an emulation of you doing what others are doing, is to follow the leader effect, if that makes sense. So when you think of 3 card money, you think of the people that's there, that's controlling the the whole set. Whether it be the person standing next to you, gambling, pointing, nah, pick this one right here, right? Suggestion. So they are making they're making the craft seem like it's a legitimate experiment based on your stupidity and shit, right? And using that same system on the lowest scale, meaning, the charlatans and stuff like that, to provide, not only conflict, but a means to get more bodies. And this sounds crazy, but this is the whole system. So I'm going to give you the breakdown as we go on, right? So let me go into this again, right? It goes, T.X. Barber defined hypnosis in terms of hypnotic behavioral perimeters, such as task motivation and the act of labeling the situation as hypnosis. See? Now he says defining hypnosis in terms of non-hypnotic behavioral perimeters, such as task motivation and the act of labeling the situation as hypnosis. In his early writing, conceptualize hypnosis as a state of enhanced suggestibility. Most recently, He has defined hypnosis as a form of influence by one person's exerted on another through the medium or agency of suggestion. Right? So you see that right there, making sure that, this is understood, man. Right? So, and the reason why I'm giving you this, so we could show as we go on, you could take the information, say about chicanery, right? Take that information on chicanery, a system going around to cause confusion for political gain or finances or whatever, right? So you have that system set up. Wouldn't that be this same system here? A system that speaks on pseudo stuffs to move the people and make up all of these things. Wouldn't that be the same system that I'm exposing you to here? So as I'm breaking down one system, I'm showing you its dirty dark side. While it's portraying itself as this, clean and righteous deed that slides within your brain and permanently controls it. So, Erickson is considered the hypnosis special inner directed altered state of function. Okay, I didn't read that. Where we at? It's being merely agency is suggestion. Gill and Berman describe hypnosis by using the psychological concept of regression and the service of the ego. Right? Has assessed hypnosis as being merely a state of relaxation. Spiegel and Spiegel have implied that hypnosis is a biological capacity. And Erickson considered the leading exponent of the position that hypnosis is a special, inner-directed, altered state of functioning. Right? Joe Griffin and Ivan Terrell, the originators of the human givens approach, defined hypnosis as any artificial way of accessing the REM, that's rapid eye movement, right, state. The same brain state in which dreaming occurs, and suggests that the definition, when properly understood, resolves many of the mysteries and controversies surrounding hypnosis. They see the REM, rapid eye movement state, as being vitally important for life itself, for programming in our instinctive knowledge initially, right? After dormant and, dement, these are two people. And then for adding to the thought throughout life. They attempt to explain this by asserting that a sense all learning is post-hypnotic. So, the things that you are given as a youth, right? Certain information that you were given, your beliefs, your morals, those type of things can be affected and tampered with based on rationale over logic. Somebody's rationale could overpower your logic, right? Which they say explains why the number of ways people can be put into a hypnotic state are so varied. According to them, anything that focuses a person's attention inward or outward puts them in a trance. And so when we look at the how do you say it? The TVs, the movies, these things, along with the elements that's right next to you, people in their indoctrinations pull you into different circles. Now, if you can have large circles promote certain things, then there you have, the mass programming. Because you do them all in small increments. Had to drink some water there. All right. So you do it in these increments, and you chip away society by hitting all of these points with that objective, right? So he who can go and make the argument, say you go into the Bohemian Grove, right? You making your argument, and from that, the influence are passed around to the people to eventually you get what you want. You know what I mean? So you think about that. Think about how the system is working and how it's working on you. Right? A number of ways can be okay. Trance. Let's move again. What we got? Induction. All right. 8 minutes to the break. Hypnosis is normally preceded by a hypnotic induction technique. Traditionally, this was interpreted as a method of putting a subject into a hypnotic trance. However, subsequently, non-state theorists have viewed it differently, seeing it as a means of highlighting clients' expectations, differing their role, focusing attention, etc. There are several different induction techniques, right? One of the most influential method was Braid's eye fixation technique, also known as Braidism. Many variations of the eye fixation approach exist, including the induction use of Stanford's hypnotic scale, the HSS, right? Most widely used research out in the field of hypnotism. Braid's original description of the induction is as follows. Now pay attention to this, right? Because this is why I tell people about watching TV and how not to do it. You know what I mean? And this is why I tell them not to watch TV lying down and never watch TV in the dark, right? This is why. Take any bright object, e.g., a lancet case, between the thumb and forehead and the middle finger of the left hand. Hold it from about 8 to 15 inches from the eyes, at such position above the forehead as may be necessary to produce the greatest possible strain upon the eyes and eyelids, and enables the patient to maintain a steady fixed stare on the object. Right now, so just say you laying down. This goes for the movie theaters too. That's why a lot of people, will fall asleep and all of that, because their angle to the screen is what's going to put them in this suggestive state. Right? So it goes on at stare, enable the patient, it goes, produce a great possibility of strain upon the eyelids, and enables the patient to maintain a steady fixed stare at the object. Right? The patient must be made to understand that he is to keep his eyes steadily fixed on the object. Why you ain't watching the show? Come on, yeah, what do you think? Right? Keeping you fixed on it. And the mind reverted on the idea of that one object. So now you into the show. Your mind is steadily on it. Don't want to stop, no breaks. You want to, right? Now they can add those other elements that you saw mentioned, the metaphors and the storylines and this, and then inside of that is where the message is. And you put it in so many different shows, not the scene, the suggestion. So then they have been programmed, and next thing you know, they are speaking this same context, right? They are offering the same information that they just received from somewhere else. And so this is how the indoctrination takes place. Even when you hear like, I said people talk and coded, right? So you call them ciphers or whatever. Now inside of this conversation, this chant, right? The pseudo, it's like it's a layer. So you get in the pseudo, you get in the bullshit, but it sounds legit. You have been indoctrinated into it once you start reciting and doing those things. And it can come in many forms, like, slashing out a B or a C. It's in so many different ways to tell if this person has been indoctrinated and it is in a trance that will lead them to be controlled, right? It will be observed that owing to the consensual adjustment of the eyes, the pupils will at first contract, right? They will shortly begin to dilate. And after they have done so to a considerable extent and have assumed a wavy motion, if the fore and middle finger of the right hand extended and a little separated are carried from the objective towards the eyes, most probably the eyelids will close involuntarily with a vibrator motion, right? If this is not the case, or the patient allows the eyeballs to move, desire him to begin anew. Giving him to understand that he is to allow the eyelids to close when the fingers are again carried towards the eyes, but that the eyelids must be kept fixed in the same position, and the mind reverts to the one idea of the object held above the eyes. In general, it will be found that the eyelids close with a vibration motion or become spasmodically closed. All right? But listen to this, though. Braid later acknowledged that the hypnotic induction technique was not necessary in every case. See, because I know you was about to say, but yeah, where does that? It's not in every case, okay? And subsequently, researchers have generally found that on average, it constituted less. Right, right. I'm not sure if y'all can see that smoke, but anyway. Let me hit my ad. If you liking this, don't forget to hit the like, the subscribe, and the notification bell so you can stay up on this. You know what I mean? I hope this is valuable to you. I hope you that, this offers you something. You know what I mean? Like I hope it ain't just sitting there, and you're not really gravitating and understanding what is being said. Right? So this is why I take the time to try to explain to you that a system is set up to put you in a bind. It's showing how to trap a people off. Hypnotism is basically the training of the people through certain groups of people who dictate how things are supposed to progress. And once they agree on certain things, this is a trickle down effect, and you could see it affecting many of people. So let's go back to the news. All right. So where we at here? Okay, it goes. Braid later acknowledged that the hypnotic induction technique was not necessary in every case, and subsequently researchers have generally found that on average it contributed less than previously expected to the effects of hypnotic suggestions. Variations in alternatives to the original hypnotic induction techniques were subsequently developed. However, this method is still considered authoritative. In 1941, Robert White wrote, "It can be safely stated that 9 out of 10 hypnotic techniques call for reclining procedure, muscle relaxation, and optical fixation, followed by eye closure." Are you not catching it here, people? Huh? Braid later acknowledged that the hypnotic induction technique was not necessary in every case, and subsequent researchers have generally found that, on average, it contributed less than previously expected to the effect of hypnotic suggestions. We already went through suggestions. Variations and alternatives to the original hypnotic induction techniques were subsequently developed. Variations and alternatives. However, this method is still considered authoritative. In 1941, Robert W. White wrote, "It can safely be stated that 9 out of 10 hypnotic techniques call for reclining procedures, muscle relaxation, and optical fixation followed by or eye closure." So when you're going to sleep at night, you're getting your programming if you're watching TV in that fashion. You know, think about it like that. If you watch the TV in that fashion at night and you are not keen to how it is being pulled off, you are definitely being indoctrinated into that. Now we get into suggestion, right? And I did this before, but this is to make sure that the people understand, so they repeat it for you as well, right? When James Braid first described hypnotism, he did not use the term suggestion, but referred instead to the act of focusing the conscious mind on the subject upon a single dominant idea. Right? The act of focusing the conscious mind on the subject upon a single dominant idea. Braid's main therapeutic strategy involves stimulating or reducing physiological functions in different regions of the body. In his later works, however, Braid placed increasing emphasis upon the use of a variety of different verbal and nonverbal forms of suggestion. Remember we thinking about Will Smith in this. As I go through this part, a lot of that you can keep Will Smith in mind. Increasing emphasis upon the use of variety of different verbal and nonverbal forms of suggestion, including the use of waking suggestion and self-hypnosis. Subsequently, right, this person, shifted the emphasis from the physical state of hypnosis on the psychological process of verbal suggestion, right? I defined hypnosis as the induction of a peculiar physical, mental condition which increases the to suggestion. Okay, you see it right there, motherfucker. Don't give me a hard time right now. Okay. Often it is true the hypnotic sleep that may be induced facilitates suggestion, but it is not necessarily primarily preliminary, right? It is not the necessary preliminary. It is suggestion that rules hypnotism. So even when you get all of that, right, all of those ways are just a great way of presenting a suggestion. The introduction of the suggestion is what it all boils down to. And I agree with that. Conception of a premise of verbal suggestion and hypnotisms dominated the subject throughout the 20th century, leading some authorities to declare him the father of modern hypnotism. I don't know about that. Contemporary hypnotism uses a variety of suggestion forms, including direct verbal suggestion, indirect verbal suggestion, such as request or insinuations, metaphors, or other radical figures of speech, and nonverbal suggestion in the form of mental imagery, voice tonality, and physical manipulation. Did you catch that, people? Or did it just, totally go somewhere else for you, huh? Contemporary hypnotism uses a variety of suggestion forms, including direct verbal suggestions, indirect verbal suggestions such as request or insinuation, metaphors, and other radical figures of speech, and nonverbal suggestion in the form of mental imagery, voice tonality, and physical manipulation. A distinction is commonly made between suggestions delivered permissively and those delivered in a more authoritarian manner. Think about Will Smith now, right? A distinction is commonly made between suggestions delivered permissively or those delivered in a more authoritarian manner. Harvard hypnotherapist, right, writes that most modern research suggestions are designed to bring about immediate responses, whereas hypnotherapeutic suggestions are usually post-hypnotic ones that are intended to trigger responses affecting behavior for periods ranging from days to a lifetime in duration. The hypnotherapeutic ones are often repeated in multiple sessions before they achieve peak effectiveness. Am I talking to myself on this seriously? Am I talking to myself? Right? Now I told you about the witches. I told you now you gotta watch the movie. So a lot of things it'd be like I would have to keep stopping and showing you references to outside sources when I shouldn't have to do that. So what I'm doing right now is telling you where to go. You can see the concept being laid out within these movies. You can even go to, let's say, Game of Thrones and Birds of Prey. I mean, I can go on and on with certain movies that literally lay it out crystal clear, right? So if you observe those movies, if you watch them, then or shows, we would be already at a level of understanding. If you was watching any of the old videos and clips that I put up, you would been caught up because I made references and explained it through those on how this system works. Right? Um That's some Facebook stuff. Yeah. You would know that. You would know how this system works. So what I'm doing is just giving you the glue. What's connecting these things? Because individually you would make an argument without knowing that, wait a minute, these are all under the same system. So when you talk about the music industry and, you know, their imagery and in the TV shows and their imagery, you're not connecting with the messages are between them. And then you can be able to have a true understanding of what's taking place. Because then you can see the script. You can see the angles in the cameras. You can see the script out on the street. You can see the hustle and those who are in on it. Because you would know the wordings and you would see it and you would see the defenses and you would go, there they go. You would understand through the chicanery, those trying to cause the confusion, while needing that because you could see how they facilitate other things outside of this concept right here, but it's all utilized under one. So in order for me to give you it, we got to go into it in the different avenues, the different things. I gave it to you, the players. You know, those who might not even know that they're playing the game. They just know the script. They was handed the script, you know, the 120s or whatever, you know, and they know that. And so inside of that, they don't realize there was something else there. The introduction in the indoctrinations and all of those other things, right? So where we at here? Let's go to, we're going to do conscious and unconscious mind, right? This is a short one. That's why I did this one. We got like 4 minutes before break, right? Some hypnotists view suggestion as a form of communication that is directed primarily to the subject's conscious mind, whereas others view it as a means of communicating with the unconscious or subconscious mind. These concepts were introduced into hypnotism at the end of the 19th century by who? Sigmund Freud and Pierre Janet, right? Sigmund Freud's physiological theory describes conscious thoughts as being at the surface of the mind and unconscious processes as being deeper in the mind. The reason why I say that is when you know, the no homo, the pause, when your pants hanging down, all of those are based on the Sigmund Freud approach, believe it or not. So you're actually inducing these thoughts, because when you look at the TV shows, what are they doing? They use those same imageries to promote it. So who has a larger influence? The individual in their 1-2 minutes of speaking, or everybody else promoting it in another way? That's the first Sigmund Freud technique. And as you can see, it worked pretty well. Right? Where we at? Braid and, and other Victorian pioneers of hypnotism did not refer to the unconscious mind, but saw hypnotic suggestion as being addressed to the subject's conscious mind. Indeed, Braid actually defined hypnotism as focused, conscious attention upon a dominant idea or suggestion. Different views regarding the nature of the mind have led to different conceptions of suggestion. Hypnotists who believe that responses are meditated, mediated primarily by unconscious mind, like Elton Erickson, make use of indirect suggestion, such as metaphors and stories whose intended meaning may be concealed from the subject's conscious mind. Did you not catch what was said right here? Right? I'm gonna have to bring this up for you because I know you be thinking that I'm tripping, but nah. Let me show you again. All right. He says, I'm about to take a break in a minute. Like Milton Erickson, make use of indirect suggestion, such as metaphors and stories whose intended meanings may be concealed from the subject's conscious mind. Is that too much for you to understand seriously? That when you watching a TV show, there's a message within the message, and that message is repeatedly, not just in that show, but through the course of the shows that you are watching. There's a universal message being passed. I don't care if it's on ABC or NBC. The same universal message is being passed. So I know a lot of people, this is new information, right? And so this might be tantalizing. It's not really, because I already told you it's the double talk, it's the chant. It's like everybody has it in their hands already. Usually when they went out, grew up, went out to the streets, this system was already set in place. From the TV shows, everything. It was already set in place to challenge whatever you was already indoctrinated into. And most likely, religion or religion or spirituality, because all of that can be attacked. Every last one of those, because it's set up by two sides. I told you, the same people who came out, right? King James, the same person who came out with the Satanic Bible, came out with, the Holy Bible. And so when you thinking that this system is not the same, through time, I'm gonna show you how identical it really is. You're gonna see how identical this system really is. It's mesmerism and hypnotism. It's Democrat and Republican. It's Bloods and Crips. It's people in focus. Whatever you see, but inside of that, if you step back and observe, you would see. And then if you looked over to this, you would say, wait a minute, yeah, it's the same thing. So you're being controlled by a system that was set up before you. And you was set free. That's why I told you, when you look at the slave collars, you see the Masonic symbol on it. Because you wasn't just physical. The physical was nothing. When they gave you the book, they already gave it to you with their control. They already had their language and all of that set up to control you in every sense of the word. Everything that you saw was already dictated. Even the new system was already put into place, because remember, shit, George Washington was a fucking a Mason, right? So where we at? Indirect. Let's go back over here. Right? It goes, the concept of subliminal suggestions depends upon this view of the mind. By contrast, hypnotists who believe that response to suggestions are primarily mandated by the conscious mind, such as Theodore Barber and Nicholas Spanos, have tended to make more use of the direct verbal suggestion in instructions. All right. Then let's go to the next. What we got here? Endodynamic reflexes, right? Now, all of this stuff, like I said, since I was away, I wish I would have, put more to the imagery as far as like certain pictures. So from now on, I will go back to what I was doing before, showing you the arc and showing you the hypnotism within that. So I'm gonna install some of that back into this. Like I said, I just got finished moving and all of that, so I wasn't able, my mind wasn't really in that, and I got other things going on. So I'm gonna get back to that. Even if I probably take a few days off from doing this and just like give you, the modern news, so you can see it. So we always up to date, and I'll always have something to reference to as I'm doing this in a more modern time. Right. So, endodynamic reflexes. The first neurosciological theory of hypnosis suggestion was introduced by James Braid, who adopted his friend and colleague William Carpenter's theory of endomotor reflex responses to account for the phenomena of hypnotism. Carpenter had observed from close examinations of everyday experience that under certain circumstances, the mere idea of a muscular movement could be sufficient to produce a reflective or automatic contraction or movement of the muscle involved. Like, like I do that. I go front. I use that one. like if I'm in a real tough jam in chess, I'll do that. Act like I'm reaching, for a piece over there to divert their attention, there. So I know a lot of this works. I just don't use it in the same fashion. I don't use it to manipulate and violate people. This system is old. Like I said, the chicanery, the hustles, and all of that. Matter of fact, after this, I'm gonna bring up the charlatan, and we gonna get into how they play a part and what I'm saying. Cause I'm dealing with their devices without exposing the user. The charlatans are the ones who's using these devices. You understand what I'm saying? So I need to go back out and show you them so you could like I just did right there with showing chess. I always mention 3-card money because that's like a easy thing to find. Like it shouldn't be easy to find online, 3-card money games. You can look in videos. I think I remember LL had it. And I'm bad. You seen I think it's tricky with Run DMC. You know what I mean? So this is universals. It's not something that's gonna be hard to find. All right. Carpenter had observed the close exam reflexes. Braid extended Carpenter's theory to encompass the observation that a wide variety of body responses besides muscular movements can thus affected. For example, the idea of sucking a lemon could automatically stimulate salvation, right? A secretory response, secretory response, right? Braid therefore adapted the term endodynamics, meaning by the power of an idea, right? To explain a broad range of psychosocial mind-body phenomena. Braid coined the term monoendodynamic to refer to the theory that hypnotism operated by concentrating attention on a single idea in order to amplify the endodynamic reflex response. Pay attention to the cards. Pay attention, right? You see, right? Like, don't understand that this is, while this is happening, this was a study being observed on how to utilize this system. This is for the charlatans. This is, right? This is for the con men, right? So it goes, reflex responses. Variations of the basic endomotor or endodynamic theory of suggestions have continued to exercise considerable influence over subsequent theories of hypnosis, including those of Clark L. Hall, Hans, and Ernest Rossi. In Victorian psychological, the word idea encompass any mental representation, including mental imagery, memories, etc. All right, so we're gonna be getting into all right, so I didn't put that one in, right? So matter of fact, I can bring up the charlatan while we here. All right. Let's see my fault. I don't know why it's not coming up. All right, let's look into charlatan. Charlatan definition. All right. In fact, I'm going to Wikipedia. Cause this is gonna play a very important part. So you're gonna notice right here. Hold on. Put you in there. All right, what it says here. A charlatan, also a swindler or mountebank, a person practicing quackery or a similar confidence trick in order to obtain money, fame, or other advantages through persistent or pretense or deception. Synonymous charlatan includes shyster, quacker, or quack or faker. Quack is a reference to quackery or the practice of dubious medicine, including the sale of snake oil, or a person who does not have medical training who purports to provide medical services. This is where this whole field came out. This psychology field that you see is a mixture of those who feel superior to other people, right? Made a system where they are the ones who control it, who control the your everyday world. So they can even come out with, medicines and all of that stuff, and it don't even be real. It's a hustle, right? So let me bring up some more of this, right? Just so we can have a good understanding that I'm not just making this up, man. This is real. Like, when I talk about the body snatchers, this is what I'm talking about. This is in reference to them, going into the graveyards and this stuff. This is where you hear about ghosts and the whites, and this all came from this system. Even the clans or whatever to run the people off. And I'm gonna get into the body snatchers, so give me a second. It goes, here it goes. The word comes, checking the time. The word comes from French, charlatan, to a seller of medicine who might advertise his presence with music and outdoor stage show. Huh? Am I making this clear to you? Huh? For real, man. The word comes from the French charlatan, a seller of medicine. Right? Let's put that there. Right? A seller of medicine who might advertise his presence with music and outdoor stage show. The best known of the Protestant charlatans was Tabarine, right? Whose skits and faces were influenced by comedian, right? Inspired, right? The word was also be traced to the Spanish, right? And discreetly talkative person, a chatterbox. Ultimately, right, trace charlatan from either the Italian to chatty or prato, or, a resident of a village also known for its quacks. All right, you want to know what a quack is? Let me let's go into quackery here. Right. So you can understand this, right? So you can understand that this is all that system, right? All right, all right. So I don't want you to think that I'm just talking and like this is has no connections. No, this is all connected to a scam, to something that you wasn't even aware of, right? Quackery, often synonymous with health fraud. It is the promotion of fraudulent or ignorant medical practices. A quack is a fraudulent or ignorant pretender of medical skill or a person who pretends professional or publicity to have skill, knowledge, or qualifications or credentials they do not possess. A charlatan or snake oil salesman. The term quack clipped is a clip form of terms quacksalvy from Dutch, hawker of salves, right? In the Middle Ages, the quack meant shouting. The quacksalver sold their wares on the market, shouting in a loud voice. Common elements of general quackeries, right? As well as, refute treatments, especially in serious diseases such as cancer. Quackery is often described as a health fraud for a salient characteristics of aggressive promotion. So we see that today, right? And so the reason why I'm showing you the medical field is because, trust me, it's gonna get deep. I want you to know this. I want you to understand. I don't want you to see this and, like I said, misunderstand what is being told to you. This is a system of a hustle. And I'm going to show you how and who gets damaged the most by this hustle. So I never want you to go away from the fact that, yes, this is directed towards the medical field, especially the psychological department and other medicines, because this right here is gonna all connect. You're gonna see, like I said, this right here is going to still be broken down, but the completion is going to take at least 6 months for you to have a full understanding of what's in front of you, right? When after the break, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna give you my little spiel so we could be all caught up, right, on what's taking place at this moment. We'll be taking a break in another 5 seconds. Oh wow! I just seen a shooting in Mississippi. Hotel leaves 3 dead. Police lock and standoff with suspect. Yeah, okay. Um, that just popped up on my feed. All right. What we talking about here? Oh. Let me give you the rundown. Right. Forgive me, I'm looking for my lighter. I don't know what the hell happened to my lighter. All right. So, in this, we basically covered, right, a system of manipulation. Basically, when you take, Freemasonry, right, you see a system that attacks all your senses, right, through chicanery, a system of talking mainly through pseudoism, right? And this is how you get it. You get it through these small pockets, whether it's the new groups or gangs or, organizations that's coming out. And so it's passed out, right? Now, these people who think they are so damn smarter than you, right? I'm pointing them out. I'm telling you, you're going to get through this, man. I'm going to show you a system laid out. I'm going to show you a system laid out to manipulate you. It feels that you cannot understand what I'm saying. It's saying, they won't understand it. They won't understand you pointing out where this system comes from, who were the facilitators, and why, it's being done. Under the guise of the medical field, people. You wouldn't believe that, right? You wouldn't believe that the medical field would do this, right? You don't believe this? Nah. What are you talking about? Yeah. In order for them, they needed bodies, right? They needed bodies in order to operate. Dead bodies, to find out what's inside. There was rules, and these rules said that you can't operate, or take corpses, right? And so they would go to the graveyards, blacks and stuff like that, and they would steal the bodies. I showed you inside the grave diggers, the body snatchers, right? So this system comes from that. They still needed bodies, so sure they can create gangs. I told you watch the feet, so I told you in that how they indoctrinated the gangs. They probably couldn't see it. They didn't know that this was a psychological fuck on them. But did it really matter? I mean, it does, to provide, because remember, they needed a way to get enough bodies. The more colleges who were open up in the fields, they needed to account for that. So those big bodies, and now you see the trafficking of bodies and body parts. This ain't new. This has always been. When they told you that you is worth this, they telling the truth. The medical field is behind this. That's why when you go in there, oh, you ain't got nobody to claim. Hey, man, you could never come out. Everybody knows that. Nobody understood that they was all in conjunction with one another, though. See, people didn't realize that. It's a 2-for-1. The money makers, they gonna get their money off of you doing whatever it takes to get to the dollar, right? And once, so it's like here go the promotion, here go the people getting rich, and there go the people getting what they need in order for you to chase it. So then there's psychological suggestion. You look at videos, Busta Rhymes, Pastor Cavassier, damn near everything Jay-Z said was a fucking marketing. Right? Even they had to get mad at him for owning, shit and marketing it within his own, right? 50 Cent got mad because dudes wasn't wearing, dudes on his label wasn't wearing the G Unit clothing, right? Look at all the promotion that came out of those big so-called big labels. Where are those labels now, though? How did they disappear? You pushed out multi-platinum hits. Now your label is gone. Now the new kids had to come out with something else that don't look strange to you. So when we go into King Solomon's temple and we explore these other avenues, just understand that these are all connected. So I'm gonna put them out, and then I'm gonna actually, I try to keep everything in its context, meaning that the stuff about the Freemason itself, in the sense of their actions, was put out there so you would know these are the people under this union, the people who know that. So you shook this person's hand, you've seen this, you would know how to know the people who were in on it, right? So then you know that part. Now from that you understand how the message is relayed out through the music and through the TV, and you'll see how and why this is all relevant, where they say the spirits and all of that, how they keep a line in all of these fields, because all of them is what gets you. The devil puts out two sides. You can take either one. At the end of the day, he's still gonna get it all anyway. So if you went the crime route, right, you do whatever, you die, nothing, right? Boom. You bust your ass over here. If they decide that this working class ain't that no more, and you drop, you don't even leave nothing to your offspring there. Who gets it all? The king. So I can use the criminal to remove somebody giving me a problem. Like I said, look at how the West was won. Look at how Australia was taken over. You send in the criminals, they make up some bullshit stuff, any justification for killing them, whatever the case may be. The king don't care. He sent them in anyway. As long as he gets his pay. Long as he gets his payout. So both sides are working for the takeover. And they come under liberal when this, that, and the third. Why? So they can impose that takeover globally. They can place that vision globally and use a secondary place, the United States, us, to pull it all off. Throw them the power. It's like in the Bible when it says, like I think it was something with leaving with the word, like taking the word out of Egypt, and that's how you basically see Egypt fall, because they went in with this tactic and then left out. And then when they left out, it collapsed. Because they build it up using this other entity as the staple. I know. I know you saying, nah, he bugging, he tripping, he don't know what he's talking about. Yeah. And like I said, as we go, man, when I pull the curtain back on the wizard, man, you gonna be like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, for real, man. Everybody been thinking that they understood, because we've been having all of these videos and whatnot of misinformation. But little do they realize that inside of misinformation, there has to be truth. And all a person has to do is go and research the lie, and you can find the truth. That's what I did. I just said, wait a minute. If it doesn't make no sense at all, right, it's a fairy tale. And from then, you're going to automatically, everybody's going to look at each other and know it's either a fairy tale or it's the truth and nobody heard it, right? Most of the time, it's either the ultimate truth that steps away from the lie, that you're not going to believe it because it's so ultimate, right? And then you have like a fairy tale, and you just know, that's some bullshit, right? But then you have the lie. Now, you can't have a lie without truth in it. It's impossible. That's why I showed you with the Harum and Hiram being the location of how you find, Jesus Christ. So, if you're looking for Jesus' burial, go look into Freemasonry, and it tells you Hiram Abiff, but they, took out the J. Then you go find out what a Harum is, and you could go find where Jesus is buried. Easy. And if that doesn't help you from this point on to let you know my research, you understand what I'm saying, my level of research, then, you don't have to return. But if this is official to you, if this is official and you're saying like, wait a minute, and you go look it up, and now you go find yourself, you don't got to get all of them books. Just get like the Mackey and the, what's the other dude? Dickie, was his name? No, Mackey and, it's the Mackey rituals and Duncan rituals, right? So you find those two, and from there, trust me, everything is answered to you. The whole thing is told. Meaning, as far as the glue, like how you could connect the both of them together. Because that's where it's buried at. If that makes sense. So with that is how I approaching it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, listen, you can get the information any way you possibly can. All you gotta do is research. Especially I look for two things. If something becomes common, that's a scary thing, right? And something that's trying to be introduced, and you can hear the falsehood in it, the numbers or whatever off, right? And you go and you seeing this argument brew while that other side is being used. The chicanery, what you call it, the chants, and I'm gonna get into it. I gotta do shows on that too. So, for right now, these are the I'm just showing you the system that was set up and the players. All right. This is what this is. I got like 5 more minutes. So, matter of fact, I think I'm gonna pull up. What was we just saying? Because you got the confidence scheme. We already know what the charlatan is, right? And how, like I said, this all came back to the medical field, and I'm gonna prove it to you. You gonna go like this? You can go. See, I know, like right now, I'm breaking stuff down, and you like, yeah, but they already trained us to mental health and this type of things. Cool, right? Not saying it ain't real. There is that reality. I'm not saying that ain't real. But letting the charlatan into your head is not the way to go. that's not the way to go. That's all I'm telling you. The new takeover is what I'm explaining to you. They already killing the religion off, right? But then they building a new one. But in the meantime, this is how it's being done. They've been utilizing the people for experimental purposes. Always have. And I'm gonna show you this. I'm gonna break this down. But I'm gonna see. You have to understand how they installed a system, religion, with the system of religion. And I don't care which one you under. With that system, it's allowed to ping pong you around because you're under that guise, under that mesmerism. Right, that's where you have to mesmerize. Because right today we just basically covered more the hypnotism, right? But it shows you that they ping pong off each other because the hypnotism is the magnetism that cleaned itself up. If that makes sense. Like that's the clean version of a dirty job. That's the only way I could describe it to you. You got one, but they both for the same thing. That's why when you heard the dude in the talking about the Satanism, that's what he was saying. He was like, "Hey man, these like two of the same thing. Y'all down with each other. You're acting like you're arguing, but that's the chicanery. That's the game that they play. You know what I mean? So I'm going to slide up out of here. You know what I'm saying? I hope you enjoyed this show. I hope it was valuable to you. You know what I'm saying? I hope you got something from it. Because from this, like I said, we're going to, I'm going to, see how much further am I going to go into this before I slide over, to slide deeper into a lot of the things. Like I said, I wanted to bring the chicanery in, and so I wanted to bring some more stuff that I'm going to go back into what we just went to and give you a deeper understanding of those, but still move forward. Peace. We up out here, peoples.